let's move on to Thunder Rosa. Defending her title once again, as we want. We want to see her as a fighting champion. She is starting to be a global fighting champion as well. This was one of those matches, one of the longer women's matches we've seen on television over the past few months, in my opinion, time-wise. It's just one of those showcases. I don't know much about her competitor. I know she beat her in Japan, and then now you got the rematch here on Dynamite. But when Thunder Rosa is clicking, it's so hard not to be such a fan, whether you like her or not, or you babyface or heel. Like her aggressive kicks and her spirit and her fight and her just, her heart just shows every time she's in the ring. So that's one of the main reasons we're such huge fans of her and supporters of her. And this was one of those showcases of it as well. I have to say, some of the match, wasn't necessarily clicking on all cylinders, but I love the overall presentation of this, the overall time they got. It wasn't a rushed match, as sometimes the women's division gets sadly, falls a victim of a rush match. But this was a good showcase, and I want to see her defend the title more and more and more. I'm all for her pairing up with Toni Storm, but also she's one of 2 women's belts, so you need to defend that more as well, not just being a tag. But so what did you think of this whole match and presentation of Thunder Rosa coming out on top?
Tremendous. And like you said, it's great to see a full-on quality women's match. And I know that the AEW women's division continues to get criticism, but I'm one that prefers quality over quantity. I'd rather have solid one solid women's match than a couple that are just kind of thrown together. And let's not forget that there's still women's storylines being promoted. We had Anna Jay turning heel. We had Ruby. So there's still storylines going.
You're right.
But what I love about this direction that Thunder Rosa is going in, and it's very similar to how I've come around with the All Atlantic title that Pac has, is that Thunder Rosa is kind of becoming that world ambassador. She went to Japan, she wrestled, and she, you earned the shot. She's asking on Twitter, where should we go next? Australia, Europe, Canada.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the complaint a lot of people had about Jade being kind of pushed as, is she more of a star than Thunder Rosa? Because Jade's showing up at all these local conventions. She's showing up at basketball games. She's showing up on doing radio press. I think this is great because you've got 2 paths for your 2 women's champions. Thunder Rosa is going global. She's going around. Yeah. She's showing up at all these other things. Plus, what that's also doing is, as like a global ambassador, you're continuing this rapport, this communication. Thunder Rosa, doesn't just show up and do a job and leave. She's talking to everybody. She talked to everybody in that locker room, and she's talking that place up. And this isn't the last time we're going to see Yamashita. I've heard it both ways. But this isn't the first time we're seeing that. She's going to be going around. And so she's kind of become that global ambassador, while Jade is our local hero. She's the local champion. And she's kind of more in the United States. And I feel like we're going to see more of these matches. Were there 1 or 2 botches? So, I think if you look hard enough, you can find a botch in every match. But I felt like this was this was a different style, and I felt like Thunder Rosa thrived. There certainly wasn't any sandbagging in this match, I
was paying close attention to that, and there was a lot of selling going both ways for sure.
Yeah, it was tremendous. I felt like I loved seeing Thunder Rosa go toe to toe, and I felt like both athletes brought the best out of each other. And I kind of like this new thing that Thunder does when she's fighting a striker opponent.
Yeah.
She pulled out her mouth guard and she's like, let's go. And she almost kind of pulled that out. And, I'm dying for this to happen. I've been trying to push this. It'll probably never happen. It's kind of like Marco Stunt turning heel. But I want, just at least once, I want to see Thunder Rosa versus Chris Cyborg. And I want it to be more of an MMA kind of style. Not like the Jake Hager, Wardlow kind of thing, but I'd like to see something more like that. But anyways, I thought it was tremendous. I love the direction Thunder's going. I do think that when they get the women's tag titles, we're going to see Thunderstorm kind of become a dominant force. But I love this like world ambassador mentality that they're putting Thunder Rosa in, and I love the dichotomy between that and Jade Cargill as kind of more the local champion.
That's well said. That's a very interesting point. You know, about 6 to 8 months ago, I think it was when we were doing our Friday night shows, I asked Bonds and Crayfish, I was like, what 3 wrestlers on the AEW roster would you pick if you were starting a company? And I went the ambassador route versus the pure talent. And the 3 I chose were at the time Cody Rhodes, Thunder Rosa, and Ricky Starks. Because, you know, Cody and Thunder were kind of that, you know, community outreach and growing and, you know, the namesake for that. And Starks I saw in this up and coming superstar. And so that's the way I was, and the way you're putting that as well. I mean, she's super nice. She will definitely, I mean, she took the time to talk to us for over an hour at All Out and just sat down and just chatted with us, which is really nice. And I think you make a very solid point of quality over quantity. I would much rather have a 10-minute battle than a 1 minute squash just to give someone TV time. I think as AEW fans, I think knowing the division and the division needing as much quality as possible, you're doing more harm than good than, in my opinion, just giving someone a 2-minute squash match on there.